this is going to be one of the hardest movies I've ever made. As you've heard, Israel has received an official notification that on Thursday, the Hamas will be returning the remains of 4 hostages that have died in captivity, or have been killed in captivity, or have been murdered in captivity, and I'm probably going to get defunded for this, but that's what I'm going to say. It turns out that the little red-headed babies who have become the symbol of the hostage situation in Gaza are not alive anymore. And on Thursday, Ariel Bibas and Kfir Bibas and Shiri Bibas, their mother, are going to be returned in caskets, together with Oded Lifshitz, who is 83 years old. I'm making this movie before the actual event. And I'm doing this on purpose because I'm afraid that after, I'm not going to be able to talk. And why I need to be here and share this with you is that Israel is not going to be able to talk after this. Everybody in Israel is going to be going through something horrific. I'm already feeling rage, anger at how this has happened and who's responsible for this, and how we have an evil enemy who has decided that this is how they fight their war, and how so many people in the world have accepted this as normal practice. And on Thursday, we're going to get 4 bodies back. It doesn't make sense to me as an Israeli. It doesn't make sense to me as a father. It doesn't make sense to me as a Jew. And it doesn't make sense to me as an officer in the Israeli army. This is the most evil outcome that you could have imagined. And the fact that our enemy is using this, the fact that our enemy is celebrating this, the fact that our enemy is going to turn this into a media event, just makes it so much harder. A little bit of the details. On the 7th of October, the Hamas sent probably about 2,000 people across the fence into communities on the Israeli side. When I say the Hamas is a jihadi Palestinian organization that has been ruling the Gaza Strip since 2005. Just a side note, when they say that the Gaza Strip is occupied territory, we haven't occupied the territory since 2005. When they say that the Gaza Strip is a prison, they've had it open doors to that prison to Egypt since 2005. But they decided that that's going to be the base of their fight against Israel, their resistance against Israel, and the base of their forthcoming or their attempt to destroy the state of Israel. So they break across the fence in October of 2023 and go on the rampage, murder 1,200 people in Israel, and take 250 hostages. 250 men, women, children, including Kfir Bibas, who was 8 months old, together with his brother and together with his mother. And we actually have footage of them being dragged into Gaza, the mother with the 2 babies in her arms being terrified by what's going on, and we know that they made it into Gaza, or they were dragged into Gaza while still alive. And here, 505 days later, we're receiving the bodies back. Together with Oded Lifshitz, that lived in the same community with them, a neighbor, 83 years old. What does he have to do with anything? And he's going to be returned in a casket too. The feelings are horrific. And I'm going to say something like this. What I'm afraid, and again, if my feelings count, or if my feelings are indicative of what's going to happen in Israel, there's going to be a rage in Israel. I'm afraid. I'm afraid that people feeling these kind of feelings will take the law into their own hands. Don't forget, there are something like 2 million Palestinian Arabs living inside Israel. I'm afraid that the rage is going to spill out on them. There are Palestinians living all over. I mean, the Israeli government is going to have to deal with a country who is so angry, so terrified, so horrified by this that it will have ramifications. So that's the Israeli side to a certain extent. And again, this is going to happen in a couple of hours in Israel. And more or less, by the time this movie actually is uploaded, those 4 hostages will have been returned. By the way, the process is this. The Hamas will hand them over to the Red Cross. And again, I choke just saying it to this because we've been asking the Red Cross to make contact with these hostages, to let us know if they're dead or alive. There's a hostage now inside Gaza that we know needs medication. We've been asking the Red Cross, take medication to him as a hostage. I mean, the Red Cross visits the Palestinian prisoners in our prisons on a regular basis. And the Red Cross has done nothing for these hostages during this war. The only thing that they do is they take credit for bringing them out of Gaza. So the caskets will be loaded onto a Red Cross vehicle inside Gaza. They're going to be transferring them out to Gaza. Outside of Gaza, they will be met by the IDF, the Israel Defense Force, and a rabbi that will do a ceremony and taken to our one of the mortuaries inside Israel, and it's probably going to take about 48 hours till we get the final identification for the 4 hostages themselves. Pray for us. Just pray for us. Pray for this country that is going to have to endure and witness this. Pray for our leaders who have to make decisions. Pray for the people to keep their rage in check and not to turn this into something terrible. Pray for Bibas, the father who was released 2 weeks ago, not knowing that his wife and 2 children had been killed in Gaza. Pray for peace in the Middle East. And again, like I've said this before, I'm not a prophet, I'm not a politician, I'm not a pastor. I mean, I don't have the solutions. But you and I both know that what Israel needs now more than anything is the Prince of Peace. Pray for the Prince of Peace to come to my people. We need that more than anything right now. In another note, there's a whole, I'm going to say, political, diplomatic balagan going on between all the different players in the Middle East. President Trump has mixed in the Russians, the Saudis, the Egyptians, the Jordanians. The plan to move the people of Gaza out of Gaza and to rebuild the Gaza Strip is still on the table, but whether that will work out or not, and I understand that there is a question about this, whether it will work out or not, the Arab world is now hustling and bustling to find a better proposal or an alternative proposal. And they're going to be meeting next week. The whole Arab League will be meeting next week to come up with a proposal that they will offset President Trump's plan. Here's the thing. A year and a half of war, and they have not come up with a proposal. They have not offered anything. They have not done anything. And all of a sudden, because President Trump is basically pulling the carpet out of the Palestinian homeland idea and pulling the carpet out from the whole Palestinian narrative by saying, okay, we can just move them to another place. Now they're hustling and bustling to put a proposal on the table that will make some kind of sense. So whether it is going to be the Arab League's proposal or President Trump's proposal, there's a feeling that things are moving in a different direction right now. Add on what's happening between the United States and Russia in regards to Ukraine. Add on what's been happening in the European capitals and the whole interaction between President Trump and NATO, and we have a big balagan all over the world. So that's the situation with the Bibas twins. Pray for Israel, pray for the families, Pray for everybody that's going to be connected to this. Pray for me because I'm having a hard time choking on this and feeling a sense of why can't I do anything to change this? And please, please pray for the peace of Jerusalem on this very, very harsh day. This is DaviD TaL. This is a Balagan Connection. We are still in Los Angeles, and before I forget, there's two things I want to connect to the end of this. One is that we will be in Israel in a couple of weeks, so if there's anything that you want or think that would be interesting to connect, I will be walking around with the camera together with Christy, and my son-in-law Justin is going to be with us, so I will be posting me showing Israel to Justin on the next couple of weeks, and that's going to be kind of cool. So if there's anything that you want to connect to that, let me know. Another thing I want to connect to is part of what we're going to be doing there is kind of connecting to different ministries and different things that we've been dealing with. I'm part of an organization called Gihon Springs. The spring of Gihon is a spring of water that bubbles out from under Jerusalem. It's where Jesus healed the man who was blind, and Gihon Springs is an organization that is helping Israelis, is helping Christian ministries in Israel, and is helping the IDF now in this very, very complex situation. We've been supporting units, buying special equipment. We've been supporting widows of fallen soldiers. We've been supporting Christian organizations, and if you want to be a part of that, there's a link down here. Go to GihonSprings.com. If you want to support me and Christy, because this is what we do right now, you can do that through the Gihon Springs link. And if you have anything to say about the Bibas babies and everything that's going on, please leave a comment below. We need you to subscribe. We need you to share. We need you to ring the bell. We need the algorithm, this weird thing inside the computer, to realize that this is important content and spread it out as much as possible. Please pray for us. This is DaviD TaL. This is the Balagan Connection. Hope to see you soon.